My cheating fiancé was having an affair with my mother, and it turns out that he is the father of my baby brother. I found the messages on his laptop while looking for our wedding budget spreadsheet. 4 years of texts. 4 years of him encouraging me to work extra shifts at the hospital while he babysat my little brother Wyatt. My mom got pregnant when I was 22. She came to me crying one night saying it was from a drunk mistake at her book club. She was 43 and terrified. She couldn't afford daycare, couldn't work full-time with a newborn, so I stepped up like the good daughter I was. I picked up overnight shifts at the hospital, sent her $800 every month for diapers, formula, rent. I was making $42,000 a year and giving her nearly a quarter of it. I was so exhausted I'd fall asleep at red lights. I missed my own engagement party because I was covering someone's shift. Matt would massage my shoulders and say, "You're such a good daughter, your mom is lucky to have you." He'd insist on watching Wyatt whenever I worked late, said it was good practice for when we had our own kids. The whole time he was Wyatt's actual father. I was looking for our wedding venue deposit receipt when I found a folder labeled Mom Schedule. I thought it was weird but opened it anyway. Text after text. Can't wait for her overnight shift tomorrow. She just left for her girls' trip, come over. Wyatt said Dada today and she didn't even notice. I sat there for 20 minutes just staring at the screen. Then I went through his email. Found Venmo receipts. He'd been sending my mom $400 monthly labeled as loan repayment. That's when I realized he was paying child support to her while I was funding their kids' life too. I called him into the living room. He walked in smiling, asking if I wanted Thai food for dinner. I didn't say a word, just turned the laptop around. His smile died instantly. "Babe, I can explain. How long were you going to let me pay for your kid?" He tried saying they ended it after Wyatt was born, that it was a mistake that happened when we were going through a rough patch. I laughed. We never had a rough patch. And the iPad showed messages from 3 weeks ago talking about how I'd been asking about wedding photographers. "You were sleeping with my mother while I was shopping for our wedding dress?" He started crying. Actual tears. Said mom convinced him to keep it secret because she didn't want to destroy our family, that he loved me and wanted to marry me, that Wyatt needed me. Wyatt needs his father. You know, the one who's been pretending to be his sister's fiancé? I went upstairs and packed Wyatt's dinosaur backpack with his favorite stuffed animals and clothes. Then I packed mine. My phone rang. My mom. She was screaming about how dare I go through Matt's private things, how I was overreacting, how I was being dramatic and ruining everything. "Tell me," I said calmly. "Who's Wyatt's father?" Silence. That's what I thought. "I'll be there in 20 minutes to get him." She started crying, saying I couldn't take her baby, that she'd call the police. I told her, "Call them, then call the father for child support," and hung up. When I got to her house, Wyatt ran up to me yelling, "Sissy!" Matt's car was in the driveway. Of course he'd run straight to her. They were both sitting in the living room looking like I was the villain. My mom stood up. "You can't just take him. I'm his mother. And he's your son's father," I said, pointing at Matt. "Congratulations. You can finally be a real family." Matt blocked the doorway as I carried Wyatt to my car. "We can work through this. We can go to therapy." I made a mistake. 4 years isn't a mistake. It's a choice. That's when I pulled out my phone and played the recording I'd made of our living room conversation. His full confession. His face went completely pale. "My lawyer gets this tomorrow. So does everyone at your firm. Your mom, your sister, who's a pastor. Want me to keep going?" He stepped aside. As I buckled Wyatt into his car seat, my mom ran out barefoot, begging me not to do this, saying she was sorry, that they both made a terrible mistake. I looked at her and said, "You chose him over your daughter. Now live with it." Wyatt asks why we left, why mommy was crying. I tell him we're going on an adventure to stay with Aunt Jenny. He's excited, chattering about her dog. He doesn't need to know his sister raised him for 4 years while his real parents laid house behind her back.